Hello, I'm Julia Cordova. Thank you so much for subscribing to my YouTube channel and liking my videos. I really appreciate it. Last week we had a fantastical oil short, so I hope that you were able to partake in at least some of that with me. And this week, when I reviewed the charts, I did not see as obvious of a high probability trade as I believed that one to be. But this week is the week of the McSqueezy. What does that mean? There are several things: oil, silver, natural gas, where there are a lot of shorts piled on. So, what we're going to do is we're going to figure out if price action gets to a certain point, what will cause pain for those folks, and they will have to cover, and therefore cause a giant squeeze that we can take advantage of. Yeah. And if you held my freshly painted toenails to the fire, I will also tell you that I do believe that ES and NQ will both close the week lower. I'll explain why. But to me, that's more of a level to level thing, just like those McSqueeze levels. So let's talk charts. You ready? This is very exciting. Whoop. All right. Okay. All right, let's start off by looking at ES or SPX weekly futures, which is this side of the screen. Okay, so last week we got that 43.80 back test and even lower we were talking about, but then it whooped the whoop back up, although it did not close above this pink line, which is the yay line. So right now, in between 44.56 and 43.80, it's still sort of chop land, okay? Now, the reason, just from a weekly perspective, that I'm leaning towards it closing the week lower than it is right now, which is 44.37, is because this divergence here from this candle to this candle sort of finally started taking effect last week. But if you look at where we closed, if you could just sort of get rid of the wicks in your mind and you look from here to here and then you look at how far down we closed, I think that this divergence is not done diverging yet, or getting rid of that divergence yet. So this is more of a gut feel based on having been doing this for a long ass time. So I would just think that we're going to close lower than we currently are, which is 44.37 based on this divergence level. And so we'll just be going level to level. I will say that above 44.56, of course, everything will start to look jolly. Okay, so if you were looking to take a long, I would maybe, and we got above that level, I would maybe use that level as a stop, and then work from there. And, you know, if it gets much above this previous high from last week, then potentially, of course, we can squeeze higher. But just level to level on this one. Above here, good. Below here and above this 43.80 level, chop, 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 chop. Below 43.80, and we will probably revisit this 4266 area, I think. May not happen all in 1 week, but I think a back test is due of this. And what I do see happening here is I see that they are conditioning people with these wicks. Usually, if you see two of these close together, that's a good and bullish sign. If you see them spaced out, and this is a weekly again, if you see them spaced out, it means that they are conditioning folks. And so the next time it goes down, people will just assume it will go back up. And it might, but not if it happens again too soon. Okay? That is my opinion. Okay, now let's look at the daily. Oops, if I remember how to do this. Okay, so I mean, and I will also remind you, nothing about this looks bearish. Okay, it's just, you know, whatever. And I will also say that we did leave a gap that went on. We did fill the Sunday night open gap when we came back up, but we left a gap that was unfilled here at between 4472 and 4474. Right here. So to zoom in so you can see we closed here, we opened here, and then the top of the wick didn't quite get to where we closed. So this is sort of what they would call a hidden gap. And we still closed underneath this 9MA. So, you know, it's not really, something is not bearish looking until it starts to get underneath the 20, and you can see that it dipped and then came back. But still, underneath the 9 is something to take note of. So level to level here, these are the pivots that I'm watching for Sunday night / Monday. 4430.75 is the, but are they really gonna do this kind of thing? It's either a level to buy if you are bullish, or it's a level to look to short and use as stop if you're bearish. And then this next, of course, you can use the 20MA as well, but it looks through the last couple of times we've sliced through like butter. So I watch it, but I just, you know, I pay attention to it, but it looks like, I don't know. I'd rather use my own levels. So under 44.30, I'm looking at 44.13, and then 43.97 below that. Okay, and then down here, all the way down here. Okay, let us look at Nasdaq. Okay, same deal here, right? They're sort of, I think, conditioning us. Now we have still not met my measured move. It's driving my OCD crazy of 15,209. This is the weekly over here. So I would really like to hit that just to be able to short it. Yeah. But we'll see. I mean, again, nothing about this is looking bearish except for the RSI is forming sort of a head and shoulder, you know, shouldery looking thing. So I'm just sort of watching that. And then on the daily, we did not leave the same gap that got left in the ES or SPX futures. And then there are several measured moves above here. So it looked to me early in the week like this flag failed, and I was all like, you know. And then the good news is it bounced up so far that it sort of let me know that volatility was coming by doing that. If it had bounced up just a little bit, I would have been questioning myself much more. Now, it is, however, back above this flag thing. You know what? I'm going to move this here so we can mark it off as a pivot. Hold on. Come on. It's not a very good pivot. What's going on here? Why aren't my lines even better than they always are? Okay, here we go. So this flag is sort of right here, and I'd have to redraw this because it's not respecting my slope. But anyway, I would watch this area right here. Why is it doing that? Sorry. Okay, I don't know why it's doing that. That's very annoying. I don't know why it was copying both things. Anyway, okay. So I would watch below 15,038, which, geez, looks like it happens to be exactly the 20MA. What am I even doing here? What am I doing? Anyway, I would say that is a good place either to take a long if you are so inclined, or to take the short and then use that as a stop. Sunday night / Monday, 15,038. This is the next level. Below here, again, any close below this bottom of this flag, and I say, nah, nope, bearish. Okay, but it may not happen all in one day. That's what I've got going on. I'm looking at this channel. I'm looking at if we hold this breakout, potentially it could move all the way up. Sure, it could happen. So just level to level here above this previous gap, which was the 15,123 area, and we will probably go all the way at least here. Okay, and then maybe all the way up to this line somewhere. This is the next measured move. This is the next trend line. So I don't know if they're going to both happen on Monday, but I'll keep updating that. Okay, let's look at Bitcoin. Okay, I'm going to explain something because I know I got a lot of people irked, and I'm sorry. Okay, I am bearish on Bitcoin, and let me just explain why. So first of all, there was this giant head and shoulders, not a head and shoulders. Don't know what anybody was talking about on that one. Does this resemble a shoulder to you? Nope. This looks like a shoulder. This looks like a head with a bad haircut. And this does not look like a shoulder. So, not a head and shoulders. The reason I'm bearish, though, is because usually when something goes down like this and just consolidates for a long period of time and stays in a range, it does not go to the moon afterwards because it gave too many people a reason to stay in. It did not, especially with something like Bitcoin, it did not scare anybody out of it. It may have bored a few people with weak hands, but it just didn't scare anybody out of it. And then it was getting in, it's been inside of this previous, channel, okay, and it back tested it, it held it, it got to my measured move here, and it was bouncing on it. But so there's a couple things. So this was not a head and shoulders. It gave too many people room to get in, and I knew, and it got to the key, and before it got to the key, there's no, I don't know, maybe some other person is smart enough to see a shape here. It could be an ascending megaphone or whatever, what a broadening structure. No, I don't know what the heck it is. I don't know what the heck it is, but it looks not bullish to me. And I figured that if they got above 50,000, that's a psychological level that would hit the news, and a lot of people would buy into that. And so I figured they wouldn't just go straight through to 50,000. Okay. Plus it was the top of the channel. So, okay. So here's where we are now. This 48,480 is, I think, a critical level for Bitcoin. Right now it's at 48,507. So we'll have to see where it closes. But, there is some significant divergence here if you look at the RSI versus the price action. However, sometimes when you see something like this, it is RSI bull flagging. So it can actually break upwards, of course. But it looks to me like it's going to come down here. I could be wrong, by the way. I'm not right all the time, just a lot of the time, to some people's dismay. Anyway, it looks to me like it's going to come down here. Now, level to level, if it closes above 50,000 and you're short, abort. That's no bueno. In fact, if it even gets anything close to this past high, if it gets anything close to 49,519, abort. I'm just saying 19 because it's close enough to here. Whatever. Abort if it gets close to here, okay? Because then it's probably going to go to 50. And I mean, sure, there will be resistance along here, and I'll let you know what it is. But to me, this was a very clear signal. And if it closes, though, below 48,480, I think that we'll have lots more down, at least probably another retest of this line. But what do I know? I do not know. If it holds, however, 48,480, then maybe it'll bounce right back up, and it's possible it chops all the way along here. I do not know. Okay, but I am at this time bearish until it proves me wrong. Okay, let's look at Ethereum. Okay, so same kind of deal. I don't know why it moves my lines. Same kind of deal here. Now this, however, is starting to look like a possible head and shoulders. So I will say above 3201, bullish if it closes above there. Below 2960, which is the key level here, above bullish, below bearish, that would be bearish. And then if it gets underneath this green line, that's a no bueno, abort. And again, a reason that I'm a little bit like wah wah on Bitcoin is because they tend to move together, and this is a triple bottom, not a bottom right here at 1720 area or so in Ethereum. So no, boo. B minus on that one, unless it gets above here, and then it might be A plus. I don't know, but that's what I'm watching. Let's look at GDX. Okay. Now I had said that I was going to buy GDX when I got to this key line, but I did not buy it last week because I did not like the price action. So this week it's all about the squeezes. So I will say that I don't think it'll go. So we're very close to this previous low. So I might take a gamble on it. Let's see where it opens on Monday. And I'll say something, probably, unless I'm otherwise disposed. But might be a good idea, in my opinion, to take a gamble on it with a stop out just below this previous low, which was 30.64. So right now we're at 30.85. And if we open a little bit lower, a little bit higher, you know, right around this area again, it might be worth a stab there with a stop out there, because there, I mean, it certainly can go lower. It's not the most bullish thing in the world that it got all the way to the key. I would have preferred it to bounce from here. But it did leave a hidden gap here at the 33 area. It did leave a gap all the way here at 41.41 area. So it is going up eventually. We do not know when that is. This is weekly, so try not to get yourself in a situation where your money gets trapped. You know what I mean? For too long. Because I don't like having my money in something that's either consolidating or going down. Call me crazy. Anyway, I think this area, if you are so inclined to love the gold miners, I would not be opposed to taking a position here with a stop out below this previous low here, you know, a couple cents, whatever, 30, 33-ish area, and then see where it goes from there. Okay. But we'll have to watch price action. Generally speaking, GDX does best when the market is also going up. So what does this mean? It means that, you know, my plan specifically was I was going to roll my money out of the indices into GDX when it's the right time. And I don't know if this is it or not. So it could be potentially, this could be a huge double bottom type of thing. Although this is kind of high, it could happen. Or potentially it will flag and come down to this 28.92 area, and then that better hold for the bulls, I think, short term. Else it's gonna poop and then come back up later. But that is my opinion. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, let's look at silver. This is the weekly up here. The sentiment on silver is very bearish right now with a lot of people, a lot of professional traders. So basically two things. I'm going to buy it if it gets down here to 20.675-ish area, which is low. I know. That's okay. Or I think that if it gets above last week's high, or 2 weeks ago's high, and that is 24.38, I think it'll at least go to, see, this is the McSqueezy, above 24.38. I believe it is at least going to go to 24.79 and potentially an S-ton higher, depending on whether it sucks in any more shorts first. But above that, we'll go to 24.79, and then above there, potentially, maybe the silver squeeze will start. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the smaller time frames, and I'll keep you abreast of everything that's going on Twitter. If I see something, I will say something, and please do the opposite. Tell me to, please. Be like, Cordova, what's it doing? Or tell me, Cordova, it's doing the thing. Something like that. Okay. Gold actually looks a lot more positive than silver does. So it's still not above the key area, but what it did do is it pierced the 9 MA, yay. So it's still not above the key or the 9 MA, but it's kind of letting us know that it's thinking about it. Thanks for that, gold. Appreciate it. For me this week, it's got to hold 1765.9, and preferably close above 1788 or so. I will likely be trying to scalp long, especially if I think they're doing some shenanigans on GDX and silver. So that's what I'm looking for there. Okay, let's look at oil. Oh, okay. I love oil. I don't know why I trade anything else. I'm really good at oil. Anyway, so last week, you know, I had said I got short the week before. I did very good there, but there is actually a gap here. I just noticed on the weekly. Oh, look at that. See? Because it closed here and then it opened here. So this space is a gap. Anyway, a lot of, you know, my plan personally was to add if it got, you know, last week if it got like up here, but it never, I mean, it opened and, you know, Sunday night, and it was like, Bye. See you. Wouldn't want to be you. You know what I mean? All the way down here. And I think a lot of people right here were like, oh, Cordova was right. Let's get short. Okay. So this looks like it's going lower, right? Because it doesn't have very much of a bottom wick. But I probably will. I don't know. But I'll tell you what, if I were somebody who got short late, I would start to panic if it got above 65 or so. So my guess is that it will potentially gap up and then come down. And then if it comes down and gets above, the 62.10 area, some of these people I think will be like, oh, I don't know. And then potentially, let's look at last week's. You know what? That's a good idea. So for our McSqueeze, I should have saved it. Let's say, it's hard to see red on red, but let's say above 63.45 or so, and I will look at smaller time frames so I don't cause anybody problems. But I would say above that area, the shorts will start to get a little worried, and then potentially push it back to the 65 area, and then above 65 and kaboom. Now, on the XOP, oh, and by the way, I should just say, I think oil is bearish. So just be careful if you go long. Just I don't know if you want to do that as an investment or a short-term trade, but just exercise caution. Because look, longer term, let me make it, okay. Longer term, this could be a ginormous shoulder, ginormous head, and then another shoulder. So it could be coming all the way back down to 30 and below. It's possible. Okay. So it's bearish right now. Be careful if you're buying the dip for an investment and not a trade. Just exercise caution. But I will say, okay, well, we can do this. The measured move from leaving this channel, we can measure that is, okay, I'll do that. I hate doing this on the fly. I'm sorry. I thought I was prepared. Every week I think I'm prepared and I'm not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the vertical height of this channel. Let's see. And then I'm going to take that and I'm going to move it to the spot where we fell out of the channel. And then I'm going to tell you the measured move from falling out of the channel is a minimum of 48 point, 49, let's say. Yeah, 49. Okay. So it looks like to me that it's going to at least 49. But doesn't mean it's going to go straight there. So anyway, potentially a McSqueezy. Watch your levels, but it is bearish. Unless it gets, if it gets back above this 63.45, then, think of it like that. And it's possible it could turn around and not meet this measured move. But yeah, for now, that's how I feel about it. Okay, now let's look at Nutter. Okay, so many haters out there, like people who don't know how to look at lizards and things like that. So with Natty, I had been waiting patiently for it to get to 3.60 or so. And if it does get there, I'm going to be cautious because there's a ton of shorts. But I'm going to probably try to attempt to buy the dip there if it gets there. However, the other thing I'm going to try to do, and then if that doesn't work, I'm going to try it again here at 3.33 or so. So those are the two areas I'm looking to buy, is 3.60 and 3.33. And then potentially if it gets above this 4.07, I will buy it there because I think that's when a lot of shorts are going to be like, Natty, how could you do this to me? And so that could work well for us as well. Okay, let's look at coffee. Okay, so coffee, I think I mentioned, it looks like it is flagging, right? So it went whoop, 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 whoop. And then, okay, so for next week, it could get a little bit below here, right? If it continues this down, it could get here. It's bullish to me all the way, Joe, I should say, is bullish to me all the way above 47.01 bullish. And then it'll be close to, I think, taking off. Okay, but either above 5207, yay, or all the way down here. I have to see. I'm not good at momentum type things, so I'm probably gonna, I already am scaled in, but I'm going to maybe take a scalp up also here, knowing that I'll probably try to close the week higher, if it does get there. And yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, make myself big. Okay, thank you again so much for subscribing to my YouTube channel and liking my videos. I really appreciate it. I will see you on the interwebs. Okay, bye.